So thanks so much for coming on the show today then, Frankie. Could you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Okay, so my name is Frankie Widdows. I am based in the UK down in the south, so south of London. I am mostly a trainer and a company director these days. I don't get to do as much lashing as I did, whereas before I was came into the industry as a lash technician, sort of working 12 to 14-hour days, and then slowly sort of built on the training, and then having my own shop, and then traveling to train people, to guest speak, and to judge at competitions. So those sort of things are what sort of keep me busy now. I like to do a lot of videos on YouTube. I have a forum that I run. I like to go through the Facebook forums and help people. So that's mostly what I do now. I do obviously try to keep my hand in with a select few clients that I've kept, just because I think it's really important that if you're going to be teaching a subject or speaking about it, you still need to have your skills up to date. But I decided to sort of keep on board my more difficult, challenging clients, the ones, maybe the more mature ladies with the sort of thinner, sparser, natural lashes that if I send them elsewhere, I can't always trust that they're going to get the best type of lashes. So I've kept a few of them on board, but yeah, focus most of my time on the business now.
Yeah, perfect. So when did you start out with beauty and what did you do before?
So I came into the beauty industry in February 2012. I had been a police officer for 10 years prior to that. So I was 20 when I joined the police. I did 10 years and then came out of the police at the age of 30, thinking I was far too old to do anything else. But I had a real passion for anything creative, like not necessarily beauty, because I'm not really a girly girl, or I've never sort of really been into sort of beauty, but I've always been very creative. Like I used to love to paint my nails like wacky colors or wear like crazy colored eyeshadow and things like that. So I always had that creative flair, but never sort of really knew what I wanted to do. And although I did the police for 10 years, I just felt that it wasn't my calling in life. It was just a job. And I thought, there's got to be more job satisfaction out of that. And although I worked the dog section for the last half of my time in the police, and I loved working with the dogs, the organisation as itself just wasn't for me. So I thought there's got to be something else out there that is going to give me a lot more job satisfaction. But the problem is that I didn't have any qualifications to do anything else. So all I had was GCSEs, I had A levels, I had no university degree whatsoever. So trying to find a job where somebody would have me with no qualifications was really, really difficult. But at the time, I'd been getting my lashes done myself when eyelash extensions were very new, sort of back in 2010, 2011. And the girl that did them, she was a mobile beauty therapist. And she just seemed to love her job, being able to go to lots of different people's houses every day. All of her clients seemed lovely. And she'd tell me sort of what clients she had that day and what sort of jobs she was doing. And when I sort of tallied up in my head what she was earning per day for pretty much an 8-hour day, she was earning like double what I was as a police officer, but seemed to have such a better quality of life. And I thought, do you know what? I think I could potentially do this. And it was more so because she just loved her job and she seemed to be really creative. So I sort of looked into maybe going down the beauty side of things. But the problem was, for what I found, it meant I'd have to go back to college, and I couldn't find a college course and then a part-time job that would sort of work around each other. So I was kind of stuck as to what to do. But then luckily I found one of our local colleges did sort of like evening classes and classes throughout the week. And I thought, well, this is a great way to get into the industry. I can still work full-time in the police, but then take the classes as and around that. And that's what I did. I took classes in pretty much every aspect of beauty. So not so much the holistic, but sort of like the gel nails, acrylic nails. I did waxing, tinting, spray tans, eyelash extensions, oh god, manicure, pedicure, all those sort of threading, all those sort of beauty treatments. And then that took me about 6 months to get my qualifications. And then I started to run that as a secondary business on the side of being a police officer. And that worked well to start off with. But the busier that I got doing beauty, the less time I sort of had. And I found it a real juggle to be working sort of like a 10, 11, 12-hour shift, come home, get some sleep, then go out and do some beauty. And then I'd come home and get ready and go out for another shift. So I really sort of struggled to balance the two. So I then decided to leave the police to pursue my beauty. But then where I'd freed up all that time, I then didn't have enough clients to fill the full days, and I also didn't have enough income. So my savings were quickly dwindling, and I had to find other work. So I then got other work doing things like cleaning, house sitting, delivering leaflets, anything that I could do. Coaching sport was another one. So I would work that all around my beauty. And then sort of finally I came into the beauty industry. And actually, interestingly, I hated lashes to start off with for the first probably year and a half. So up till sort of mid 2013, 2014, I was the most shocking lash technician you've ever seen. I was using loose lashes, 0.3s on every single client, from the younger girls up to the more mature ladies with no lashes whatsoever. I was doing a lash map of an 8mm in the inner corner, a 10mm over the middle, and a 12mm on the outer corner on every single client, which obviously just caused the eyes to droop downwards. And where the lashes were so heavy, they were pulling out these poor ladies' lashes. They never came back because the lashes didn't stay on, because we were using those sensitive slow curing adhesives back then. And yeah, lashes for me just wasn't my thing. And I always thought that I was going to go into nails in the end. But then I kind of had this light bulb moment one day where I had a great set of lashes done myself, and sort of looked at the set and thought, you know, why aren't my lashes looking like that? And it was kind of this light bulb moment that I realized that if I actually kind of ignored the training that I had, which was pretty poor, but only because lash extensions were very new back then, we didn't have the techniques and the products that we have now. But if I sort of tried to use my own brain and problem solve, I actually realized I was quite good at lashes. And then it was kind of from that day that I sort of fell into lashes. And then that moved forward through me getting onto a couple of forums and posting my work. And I like to help people. So I would just post and say, you know, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And it kind of snowballed from there, like people asking me to become a trainer, to do videos. And that was the sort of initial start of getting into the industry. Yeah, and where it all started. And I'll kind of stop waffling now, because otherwise I can go on forever talking about sort of how I got into where I am now. So I'll probably sort of leave that bit just there for them.
Well, I was actually, one of my questions was going to be, so you've got, obviously you've went on and you've got your product line now, and obviously you're heavily into the training. So do you have a team for training, and was that always the goal, to kind of branch out then to those other avenues, or no?
No, never. So firstly, I never intended to become a trainer. I never intended to be to sell products, and I sort of never intended to sort of be where I am now. All I ever wanted to be was just a working beauty therapist / technician, just, you know, doing my thing 8 hours a day, and then, you know, just chilling in the evening. But it was a lot of people asked me if I was a trainer, and I said I wasn't, and they said, well, you should be, because I'd love to train with you. And when I was looking around at a lot of the training that there was, and some of the work that the students were producing, I could see such technical faults in it that I was like, I'm sure I could do a better job than this, but I sort of lacked the confidence, thinking, do you know what, if I'm going to be a trainer, I need to be awesome. And I didn't think I was at that level, but people kept pushing and pushing. And I wasn't a trainer, but I had 4 ladies that came for like a mentoring session in my tiny little beauty room that I had. And you know, I just loved it. And the feedback from those 4 ladies, I think I charged them like £25 each for 4 ladies. So that would cover the cost of what I was earning per day. And we just went over skills and that. And the feedback was amazing. So I took it from there. And then it wasn't until I held a lash conference in 2015. So probably not a lot of you know of this, but I was probably one of the first people in the UK to hold the first ever lash conference, which was I can't even remember what we called it now, like the UK Lash Conference 2015. So we held that up at Heathrow, and I had a couple of the industry speakers come and speak there. And it was actually Hannah Pajato from London Lash, who's she's just so lovely. She came with her stall, because at the back of the room we had some space for vendors to sell their products. And she said to me, Frankie, you need to start selling products. And actually, for somebody that would be my competition, and it is my competition now, for her to say to me, look, come and be my competition and sell product, just shows you what a lovely person Hannah is. So I kind of considered it, because I was getting into training, I needed to have my own brand, and up till then I'd kind of bought in products and given them to my students. So we literally just started off with like a few products. I didn't take out any loans or anything. So all the money that I was earning from doing lashes myself and doing training, I literally just invested that back into my business. So we started off with a few glues, a few tweezers and a few lashes, and that's literally all we had. And then over time we just built and built and built and built. So that turned us into like our global shop. And then with the trainers, I was spreading myself so thin, I just couldn't cater for all of the students. And then there was international students that wanted my content. So that was when I then started to take on international students to assist me in doing my training. So that's kind of how we sort of got to that point, really.
That's a crazy story, isn't it? Like, just
Yeah.
how that's happened.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know. So not intentional, this is just how you've ended up that way.
Yeah, I never ever had this plan of being here. Like I said, I just wanted to be a little beauty therapist doing a bit of nails, a bit of lashes, although it turned out that I just love, never found anything I'm so passionate about lashes. I don't know why, but it's obviously a thing because there's so many of us that are passionate. But just having some tweezers and some little bits of plastic lashes that we stick on other people's lashes just totally floats my boat. Like we're all like it, but you just get into that zone. There's nothing else I've ever done that I just love. And yeah, I just fell into it. And it's really interesting because it seemed that so many other people around me had found their passions in life. And I was at the age of 30 and I was like, don't even know what my passion is. I'd played sports over the years at a competitive level. I'd trained dogs, I'd ridden horses. I'd never found anything that was my passion. And it was so nice that it was almost like lashes found me. I didn't try and force myself to do something which is what I've been doing over the years, trying to force myself to like things. And yeah, lashes found me. So it was literally, I fell into this. I never had any intention whatsoever to do any of this, but that's life for you. Fate takes you in certain directions, and I'm such a great believer in that.
And obviously you said that you do some clients still, but do you really like the training side? Because obviously from what I can hear now, like you really love like helping people in the videos that you've put on YouTube and stuff. Like you help so many, like just from free content. Do you love the training side of things as well?
Yeah, I love doing the lashing, but for me sometimes that can get a little bit repetitive, because most of our salon clients, they don't really know what we do. And why should they? Because they're not lash specialists. They haven't taken the classes that we've done. And also with the types of ladies I was seeing in my county, I was very limited to what I could actually do because I'd kind of become a specialist in working with the very fine, sparse natural lashes. But I was then very limited because I couldn't do crazy coloured lashes. I couldn't do extreme layering because they didn't have the lashes there. And then when you're seeing so many amazing photographs on Instagram of such technical sets and you want to do it, but you just don't have the client to do it on. And also when you're so busy, you don't have the time to get a model in for either free or reduced rate because you're probably looking at about 4 or 5 hours a set, and who's got 4 or 5 hours in a day to work for free just to get one picture or something? So for me, and because I'd worked so flat out for like 3 or 4 years, like 12, 14-hour days, I kind of got a bit exhausted by doing lashes and kind of doing the same sets. And, there was days I'd do really awful sets of lashes on my clients because I was so tired. And then days I'd do an awesome set on that client. And they couldn't really tell the difference. So it just shows you that clients really don't know the technical nature of what we do. And why should they really? So when it comes to the training, I love it because when you train students other than beginners, these girls, they've come to invest in you. They know what they're looking for. And I really love the younger students, or those that have lost their confidence or maybe have been trained in the incorrect way. And it's so rewarding to be able to see how you can take that student and just give her so much confidence straight away. And they all come in and they're like really nervous. And for me, it's always about making learning fun and trying to take the pressure off it, because I think a lot of us, when we all take training, I know I'm one of them, you just go in and with all the sort of like, you're stressed out and you're nervous because you think you're going to be judged. So I'm always like, look, I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to help you. I'm not going to, I'm not going to pick holes in what you're doing already. I'm just going to show you a better way of doing it if I think there's a better way. So for me, I absolutely love the training side of things, because you meet so many different students with so many different learning styles, and it also makes you think as well, because you can't teach one student the same way that you'll teach another. So that's why I always like to keep my class sizes small, no more than 3 or 4 on a course if we've got models. Sometimes I'll have 6 if we're doing like a Russian volume course where we don't have models on a one-day course. But yeah, I'm a bit of a people pleaser, so I've always been a people pleaser, and I love to help people. So I think that's why I joined the police in the first place, because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to help people. I've always coached at sports as well, because I like teaching people. So it was kind of like a very natural progression for me to go into teaching and share those skills. And I always think, if you've got a skill, go and share it with somebody. Go and share all of that knowledge that you've learned, and share your passion with other people. So yeah, it's so rewarding, because no one training day is the same, no one student's the same, so you can't ever really get bored of it, because you never know what's going to happen. And by the end of it, these students come in and they're all like nervous, and then they're just bursting with all of this energy and all this and they just want to go out there, and then you see them flourish. And it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
Yeah, oh, that's so nice. So do you like travel then to other places? Do you like people host you as well, or do you have like an academy as well that you train at?
So I have an academy here in the UK. So I have my own training academy in my little salon, but I do spend a lot of the time outside of the UK training. So people will host me. So sometimes, for example, first of all, if I'm going to, let's say, guest speak or judge somewhere, usually I'll use that as an opportunity to run a course. So depending on what the course is, I will either ask somebody if they can host me, or if I can hire their salon, or we'll do it in a hotel room. So that's one option that we've got available. But then there are other people that actually come to me and say, Frankie, I'd really like you to come to Germany, Australia, wherever, and I'd like to host you. So yeah, it's a bit of both really, depending on what we get coming in. So I do spend a lot of the time outside the UK. Probably the last 3 years, it's kind of been a trip every month, and that gets quite a lot. So for I think my last trip was actually in November last year, and I actually decided that for the first half of this year, I wanted to take it off. And actually it's kind of quite well for me for coronavirus. It's kind of allowed me to do that, but I would have done it anyway. I got a new puppy in December, so I'm very passionate about my dog. So I wanted to spend a lot of time just with him, just working on his training and that. So yeah, it's been really good to be able to take this time off, because traveling, although it looks very glamorous in the photographs and it is fun, it's extremely exhausting, because you have to do so much to put everything in place. You have to make sure that everything's sorted before you go away, and then you're literally on a plane, you get to your hotel room, you crash out, you're up the next day running courses back to back, you literally get on a plane and you fly back. And if you're doing long haul, like say Australia, so last year I did Australia for a week, so I literally flew in, slept, trained, did a conference, got on a plane and come back again. And people are like, how was Australia? You're like, I don't know, I didn't really see it, because it's not a holiday. And the longer you stay there, it then costs you money, and then you lose money, because again, to do training internationally is quite expensive by the time you pay for your flights and your food and your accommodation. And we don't do it to earn much profit out of it, which we have to do to make it worthwhile. But we do it because we want to spread the Eyelash Excellence brand, and we want to be able to get to here, there and everywhere, and be able to train so many students. And everybody's so lovely when we go there, and so receptive of us. So yeah, it's really great to be able to have the opportunity to travel the world and train a subject which I just absolutely love. So I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. That must be a good feeling, like the first time you were ever kind of, I don't know, like scouted like internationally, isn't it? Like asked to be trained and stuff.
It was, do you know what? It was terrifying to go to another country and teach your techniques to these people. It was absolutely terrifying. And actually it's quite embarrassing for me, because as English, we only speak one language because English is an international language. And
Yeah.
I actually always feel really embarrassed that I can only speak English. And I travel to so many countries, and these girls, they speak like 3 or 4 languages, and they're like, I'm so sorry, my English is not very good. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
you guys are incredible to understand what I'm saying in another language. It just, yeah, I find it really embarrassing. And I remember being in Holland last year, and I was standing outside the venue waiting to go in, and these 2 little girls came past me, and one of them was 7 and one was 4, and they had a conversation with me in English, and I'm just like, that's just crazy. So yeah, I'm going off on one there, but yeah, I'm always just, yeah, to go around the world is just amazing.
Yeah, I know. I always think that, even I've not experienced the training side, but like even when you're on holiday, I just feel so uncultured. I don't know. I just think we only know English. We don't know anybody doesn't speak English. You're like, don't know what to do.
But then, so I tried it. I was judging in Paris last year, so I thought, do you know what? I did French at school, so I'm going to try my best here to speak French. So I was trying to speak to somebody in French, and they just ended up speaking to me in English in the end. And I was like, no, because my French was obviously that poor. They were like, this is just going to be easy to speak in English. But anything else, I haven't got a clue.
That's so funny. So you do judge in a lot of competitions as well. Would you recommend lash artists getting into competitions? Do you think it's a good idea?
Oh my God, judging is amazing. Lash competitions are amazing. And it's such a great event because everybody gets together. You're bringing this passion together and you are showcasing your skills. Like the atmosphere at judging is just amazing. Like, we don't have anything to do with the competitors. So we always judge blind. So us judges, we don't come into the last minute, and we have a judging room, so we are always completely split. There's a lot of people that go, oh, it's biased, you knew who it was. We don't even know who we're judging. And you know what, when they give the awards, we don't even know what work it was awarded to, because they just give the award. They don't usually show an image at it. So judging, yeah, when you judge blind, it's absolutely amazing. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend anybody to get into it, whether they go in person or whether they go online. Online competitions is quite good. So if you're somebody that gets a little bit nervous in a public situation, if you're lashing, because you think if you're lashing at a competition, you're in a room that you can't control the temperature and humidity levels. You're usually sat on a couch that isn't yours. So when you're at home, you've got your own stool, you've got your own couch, your own setup. But when you go to, let's say, a hotel where they normally hold this, to actually have a different environment, a different bed that you're working, a different lamp, a different pillow, for some people that's really overwhelming and the nerves can get to them. So the online competitions are really good because you can do it in your own comfort. You can also choose a model that you like and is suitable. But yeah, whether you are online, whether you're in person, it's absolutely something that I recommend people get involved in. Even not to win, but just because you're going to get some really great feedback from the judges, where they will tell you where you've dropped marks or where you've done well. So it's actually a really good way to learn your craft. It's almost like a mini lash lesson where we'll give feedback and tell you what it is for competition. And also, I think competing is, go into it to learn. So don't go into your first competition to win. Go in it as a complete learning curve. And then every time you enter, you take something from that, and then you can build yourself up to that top standard. And if you do win, it's great. And if you don't, you've learned something. And it's always nice to get a certificate or show that you are competing, because that's always going to help your business to show that you're actively involved in very, very high level lashing. So yeah, absolutely recommend anybody to get into it. And I've also just judged at Lash a Man competition. So that was an online competition. Do you know what? It was the best competition I've ever judged. To actually see lash extensions done on so many guys. Oh my God. And they're so, so beautiful. So if you can ever take a part in Lash a Man competition, absolutely go for it, guys, because it's just like, as a judge, it's just the best. And men have such great lashes as well. So you can really go to town on them.
Loads more lashes, I think. um, so a wee question about younger Frankie. I know you said you were in the police, but from business side of things, do you think you were ever kind of more business-like? Did you get that from mum and dad, or did you just kind of just go into it all?
You know what? neither my mum or dad are business orientated whatsoever. I am not business orientated. I actually think I'm not an academic at all. So I have a lot of common sense about me. So if you give me a problem, I can usually solve it. And I think that's why I'm good at lashes, because although I've taken a lot of classes, I very much am self-taught. I'll actually look at a situation and think, right, what can I do? And I think being a police officer was good for that, because you turn up to so many different jobs, and although you've learned the law and you have this rule book to go by, every single job that was presented to you was different, and you had to think on your feet about how you're going to deal with it. And I think lashes is the same as well. Like, you take the training, but it's not until you get a client in front of you, like, oh God, those lashes grow off at that angle, or they're not bonding, or there's a gap there. How am I going to do that? So I think the fact that I've had common sense has helped me. So going back to the business, do you know what? I am not business minded whatsoever. If somebody had said to me in my younger days, you would be running an international business, I'd be like, you are having a laugh. So I don't have a natural business brain. I actually find this really difficult. I find all of this really daunting. I have to push myself out of my comfort zone. I'm very lucky to have an amazing team of people around me that guide me. So I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, and I try my very, very best to learn to them. But I also take a lot of guidance from somebody that I trust in my business, and she is amazing. So although I'm technically the boss of my business, I don't like to be the boss of my business. And I have an amazing lady called Becca that works for me. She's incredible. Before she worked for me, and I was so lucky to get her, she was in charge of multi-million-pound companies. So I'm so lucky to have her. So anything I run past her, because I don't have that confidence in like, I know what I'm doing when it comes to lashes, but when it comes to business, I might look like this beautiful swan gliding past on the horizon, but underneath I'm going like this, and I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I have absolutely no business skills whatsoever. I actually was never particularly driven either. So I was somebody that was just quite happy just to plod along and turn up to work and take my money. But I think over the years I've learned this tenacity to keep pushing every day. And I think when you work for yourself, isn't it? When you work for yourself, that's what drives you to get up in the morning, isn't it? Because you reap the rewards of what you do. However, saying that, I actually had a very good chance meeting with a guy called Simon Coulson. So when I left the police and I had to get other jobs, I actually did house and pet sitting, and I house sat at this massive £1 million house that overlooked the sea in the county that I live in, and the guy's got like Ferraris and Porsches and like, big cars on the driveway, and I'm like, what does this guy do for a living? And when I asked him, he said, I'm an internet business coach. He's one of the UK's leading internet business coaches. He shares the stage with Alan Sugar and Sir Richard Branson. He travels, the world teaching. He's got like 12 companies that all turn over in excess of $1 million a year or whatever. So he knows his stuff. And I sort of got chatting to him and sort of said, do you think what you could do could help me build my business? Because I was just starting my mobile beauty business, and obviously I needed a website and things like that. So he was like, yeah, absolutely. So we kind of did a little bit of a service swap. So for X amount of days house sitting, because he spent a lot of time away on business, he let me come on one of his 3-day internet courses. So I went on that internet course, literally sat there for 3 days, like, I have absolutely no idea what's going on. You've got all of these people in their nice suits and with their swanky laptops and nodding away like they know what they're talking about. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I haven't got a clue. I was this tiny little fish in this massive pond, and just thinking, so overwhelmed. But the good thing about me is that I get overwhelmed to start off with, but then I'll go away and then just sit and just ponder and then start implementing it. And then it was through Simon actually that I then learned how to build my business online. And then jumping forward, I actually now go back to Simon's event. So the original event that I went to learn about it, they would have guest speakers. So now Simon actually invites me to go back and guest speak at his events, so that I can share my story of how I pretty much came from nothing out of the police to then, running my business. I also featured in his book as well. He had a webinar the other night that I tuned into. I was in that as well. I was like, I didn't even know I was going to be in that. So that was great. So yeah, so for me, you can learn business. You don't have to be business minded. You just have to step out of your comfort zone, take a few risks, make a few mistakes, and also try and have a good team around you. Because I think when you run a big business, you can't do it on your own. Although, you know, you can't spread yourself so thin, you have to be able to outsource to other people that you trust that are going to assist you in your business. And that's, you know, how little, it doesn't matter how little or small your business is, you do need support from other people and other people to guide you. So I also work with a business coach as well. So like I said, I'm not a natural to business, so I meet with her every quarter and we go through how the business is going. And she's great because she doesn't tell me how to run my business, but she's great at like sowing this little seed, and then I go, oh, I had this idea, and she's like, that's brilliant, Frankie. And she'd thought of that, like, you know, right at the start of the meeting, and it took me that long for the penny to drop. So having a business coach actually is another really good thing that I recommend, because they will just show you how you can sort of guide your business in the best ways possible. So yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. That's such a great story, isn't it? Like going in that house. Like, see, that kind of stuff would inspire me. I would be like, how has he got all these cars in this house? I want to get to that stage.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, one thing I will say is that nothing falls in your lap. Like a lot of people, you know, they would always say to Simon, oh God, Simon, you're so lucky to have all of this with his big house and that. But you know what? That guy's worked really hard for it. And like he always says, you know, he can't give you an idea and he can't make your business for you. You're going to have to work really hard. And, you know, it takes a lot to run a business. You know, sometimes I'm still online at, you know, 11:30 midnight dealing with emails, because when you run your own business, you can't switch off at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. And it's whether you want that or not. And, you know, I'm very, very lucky. I don't have children. I've chosen to be a career woman, and my dogs are my babies. But, you know, I can understand how it must be so difficult to do it if you have a family. Like, I don't even know, like, some of these, you know, international lash techs and judges, they have like 3 kids, and I'm like, how do you guys, I take my hat off to them ladies that do that, because I struggle now. But yeah, it is hard, and it's a lot of hours. But, you know, I always say that you will reap the rewards from the efforts that you put in. But also, if you love what you do, which I'm so lucky to do that, you'll actually never work another day in your life. And I think, you know, whether you are just not just a working lash technician, because, oh my God, that's the hardest thing that I've ever done, or whether you're someone that's running a business, we actually have such an amazing industry. From the clients that we meet, you know, some of our clients become our best friends. You know, I've made some amazing friends from that. Or whether, you know, you end up at a competition and then you meet people, or you go on a training class and you meet people and you stay in contact, or, you know, you go to these conventions that I speak at, you know, I get to see the other judges, and, you know, we're such good friends now. And to be able to see the same people at these social circuits, or the same clients, I think we are so lucky to be in such an amazing industry. So yeah.
I agree. It's such a nice little industry just now. I think the lockdowns really brought like more, I don't know, social media accounts that I've came across that have been like, oh wow, her lashes, like, and I've just followed, like, I think it opens up to loads more lash techs that you didn't hear about because you're busy. For me, like, busy, I'm at the stage where I'm like 10-11 hours, like when I come home at night, I'm just like, social media is not what I want to be on. I feel like I'm getting more time to like find these like great technicians that's out there.
Yeah.
So do you believe in a positive mindset? Is that something you practice and helps with success?
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a difficult one, because I think anytime you're involved in anything that is almost like I run an online business, but I think our industry is very much online. So things like Facebook, Instagram, and because we do lashes, the industry is very visual. And it means that we spend a lot of time online. And I think, you know, like anything within social media, we end up comparing ourselves so much to other people. And I personally know, you know, only talking for me, that over the years has had a real negative impact on my mental health, if I'm honest. So I'm quite lucky that I'm not somebody that does suffer from real bouts of depression, that, but I have found that social media at times is my worst enemy, because I'm very passionate about what I do, and I'm passionate about, or not being the best, maybe it is, but just delivering what people want. And where the industry moves forward so very, very quickly, it's so worrying that, especially, you know, if you're lashing your clients, or whether you're a trainer or a speaker, that you're not getting left behind. So you're constantly like scrabbling around to try and find as much information, stay up to date. And there's always that worry that you're going to get left behind. And I think that naturally does have an effect on your mental health. I think also sometimes when you work yourself to the bone and you spread yourself a bit thin, and I've been there working clients, you don't get any time for yourself either. So you spend all of your time making your clients look beautiful, but you don't have time to go to the hairdressers or get your nails done or get your own lashes done or even eat properly. You're just working. And I think all of those things collectively can have a real negative impact on your mental health, or your mindset. So for me, practicing, you know, being in a good space is really important. So where possible, I always try and take a break from social media, because I feel so much better when I've taken a few days away from it, which is quite difficult because I try to post daily and I try to stay up to date, but I don't ever want to sort of lose out. So I find that really, really difficult. But yeah, practicing mental health, so trying to eat well, trying to be positive, trying to not look too deeply into things, actually believing in yourself that you're doing okay, also believing that you're not going to please everybody. So whether you are a working lash technician, you're always going to get happy clients and clients that aren't happy, or clients that you just don't suit. If you are a trainer, you're going to get students that like the way you teach, students that don't like the way you teach. Okay, if you're somebody that does a lot of social media posts, you see it on forums all the time. There's some people that are very black and white about what they post, and some people are like, I love how you say it, and other people are like, you shouldn't be saying that. And other people that are a bit more sort of, I call it pink and fluffy. So I think, you know, that's it. Sort of staying healthy mind in our industry is so important, and not to get hung up so much on all of the things that we constantly see. And it's not just our industry, it's in any industry, whether you're in the fitness industry, whether you're health and beauty, whatever industry. We are now with social media, aren't we, always comparing ourselves and thinking that we're not good enough. Everything, you put a filter on it, and everybody puts a filter on their face, on their body, on their lashes. So it's a really, I think it's a really difficult times for everybody. So yeah, I'm a massive advocate, and actually I've been practicing this for probably about a year and a half now, of having this positive mindset. And actually my health has been so much better. Like before, I always used to get colds and aches and pains, and you know, I suffer with IBS, that would flare up quite a lot. But actually since I've put my mind in a better state and sort of not tried to compare myself or be stressed out about things, and just realizing that most things I can't control, I really can't, I've actually not had a cold, touch wood, for a long time, or had the aches and pains that I used to have. So yeah, I'm a massive advocate now for, you know, good mental health mindset. And I think it's such a massive part of what it is that we do.
Yeah, that's good. So where do you see yourself in the brand then in 10 years' time? That's okay.
Oh my God. Do you know what? That's a really good question. And it's a question that I got asked about 3 months ago. And as we literally went into lockdown, and do you know what? I've learned so many lessons about lockdown, is that we never ever predicted that coronavirus would be a pandemic, so that, you know, that it would have a global effect on every single person, on every single business out there. You know, I think being in the UK, we're still on lockdown. So, you know, a lot of other countries are back up and working. There's people that are going back out there and earning money. You know, we've been given a little bit of help from the government, but I'm sorry, but the help that we've been given, that was spent, you know, weeks ago. And it doesn't look, in my opinion, like we're going to get much more help. So a lot of us here in the UK are really struggling at the moment, because we literally can't go back to work. And although we've been given information that we will potentially go back, and I won't say the date, I honestly can't see that we will, because until we start being able to get closer than 2 meters to people, I can't see that we're going to go back. Because also, lashes is not a necessity, it's a luxury. So are they going to allow us to go back? So moving on from that, you know, the coronavirus has sort of taught me that I actually have no idea where I'm going to be. And actually, I don't want to plan for where I'm going to be. Like, I'm going to kind of go with the flow, because actually everything in my life that I've always planned has never actually gone to plan. And all it's done is stress me out, because I'm chasing this dream that I'm trying to get to. And then when I don't get there and there's a diversion, I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this because I'm so focused on this. So I tend to now kind of go with the flow as much as possible, because the industry changes so very quickly. You know, 1 minute it's all about online training, the next minute it's about in-person training, the next minute it's about volume. Now everyone doesn't want to learn volume because we've got pre-mates, and it's now all about mega volume, and it's all about strip lash training. And so for me, actually, personally, I am not setting myself any goals as to what I'm going to be, or what I'm going to be doing. Am I still going to be doing lashes? You know, I did a couple of years ago think about selling the business, and going to live in the Maldives and laying in a hammock. But I think, to be honest, I think I'd get bored. Like,
Yeah.
and there's nothing else that I love like lashes. Nothing else that I love at all. So to actually see myself outside of lashes is not something now that I think I can do. As for 10 years, you know, people might say to me, do you want to step away from the business a little bit more? I don't think I do, because I love lashes, and like, what would I do? So yeah, maybe, you know, maybe I'll have another business by then. Maybe I won't be doing so much training. Maybe I'll go back to doing lashes on clients. I don't know. I'm literally just going to go with the flow and see what happens. So yes, I can't answer your question indefinite, but that's how I've sort of learned to live my life. Like I said, coronavirus has actually taught me such a life's lesson.
What's your most worthwhile investment you've ever made?
Oh, what, in lashes?
Well, people give me different answers, to be fair. I think it's an overall question.
Worthwhile investment. That's a really, really good one. Okay, let's talk about the lash industry then, because I could probably waffle on about loads of other ones. Training. Okay, training is probably the best investment, because you can't just take one course. So whether it's business, so I've taken a lot of business courses because I'm not an expert at business. I've also taken a lot of lash courses, and still will continue to do that, because what a lot of people do who are not really into lashes is they take one lash course and I think it's done. You take one lash course and you'll be done for the rest of your life. But within our industry, it moves forward so very, very quickly. So for me, even though I'm a trainer and a judge, I want to know everything. If there's a new technique, if I can be better than I can, if I can, you know, train people better, if I can judge better, if I can lash better, I want to be doing that. So for me, my best investment probably has always been to take additional training. So like I said, whether it's business, whether it's courses, because every single course that you go on, so although I'm trained in Russian volume, I still take basic Russian volume courses, because you're going to learn something different on every single course, and every single trainer is different. They have a different learning style. So you'll train with one trainer and you'll just be like, oh my God, we're singing off the same song sheet here. Or you'll train with another trainer and you're like, I don't quite get your techniques, like you don't work for me. So yeah, investment into continued training, whatever subject it is, for me, has probably been the best investment that I've ever made. And it's something that I will always continue to do. If I ever see like a new online course come out, so I took an online strip lash course the other day, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, took that. Last year I trained with Melanie from Glitz Lash Studio. She came to the UK, so I jumped on her course and it was just amazing. So training all the way.
Yeah, that was actually my goal for 2020, is go to all these people, get mentoring sessions, training, and then Corona happened. Nobody's doing it. One time anyway. Next year. So in the last 5 years then, what's a new habit or belief that's improved your life?
A new habit or belief that has improved my life? Ooh. New habit or belief that has improved my life. Okay, I read an amazing book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. I don't know if you've read that, have you? Or if you've heard about it. So this book got recommended to me. I do love a good book. I do love a good self-help book because I actually really like psychology, like not so much to be like a counselor, but I love to understand why the brain does things. And the biggest thing from my interpretation of this book is that I find it really hard to put it into words as because the concept is quite wacky, but it's the best book I've ever read. So pretty much a lot of us, we either live in the past or we live in the future. And we spend so much energy on either being a victim to what happened to us back then, or thinking, do you know what, if I just had this, or if I just got to that point in my life, things are going to be so much better. Whereas this book talks about actually just living in the now. Don't worry about what's going to happen in an hour, you know, this evening, tomorrow, and don't play a victim of what happened a day ago, a week ago, a year ago. It's actually about embracing the now and living life to the full in every minute that you've had. And that kind of sort of goes back to that question that you asked about sort of positive mindset. So for me the biggest thing actually is this book, which I've actually read 8 times now. Like if I feel like I fall off the wagon a little bit and I'm having a little bit of what I call a wobble, and I did have a wobble in the first week of lockdown because I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen with the business, and like we're not earning any money, I've got no students coming in, oh my god. Actually I went back to this book, and actually it's a book that I've recommended to several other people now, and it's been a real game changer for them. So yeah, for me it is about living in the now. Do not worry about what you cannot control. If you're okay right here, right now, that's all you need in life. And like I said, it's been an absolute game changer for me. And there's part of us that is called the ego, and it doesn't mean an egotistical, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like people, oh, like he's a real egotistical person. It's not. An ego is almost like a false self that comes in and gives us doubts about our lives. And actually, like he says that we've all got one. And for me, I have this little green man that looks like a leprechaun. I know this sounds really weird, okay, but he is this object that is obviously lives in my brain, and he always comes in from the right side, and he tries to fill my head with negative thoughts. And I used to let him get in and really affect my mental health, whereas now I can see him coming a mile off. He comes in and he tries to give me these negative thoughts, and it's really weird. This is how I deal with it. And I literally just go poof, and I knock him off, and he just disappears. And I know that sounds like the craziest thing, but for me, anytime I have negative thoughts or doubts or lacks of confidence, and he's trying to do that to me, I get rid of him. And do you know what? It's been the best thing for me. I read that book about a year ago, and yeah, for me, yeah, that has been a real game changer for me. So anybody that's watching this, if you want a good read, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now is probably one of the best books that I can ever recommend. So yeah.
That sounds so good. Definitely need to get on to that one. So where can people find you then on social media then, Frankie, for training and things?
Okay, so I'm all over the place. So first of all, my website, which is eyelashexcellence.com. We are UK based, but obviously our business is international. So we ship internationally, we ship really quickly. So if you ever order anything from us, you know you're going to get it. We also don't sting you on postage costs as well. So we take a massive hit on our postage costs to make our products affordable for everybody across the UK. And our products are really affordable because I came into this industry as a working lash technician, spending all of my money on products and not having a lot left over. So I always wanted to provide the industry with affordable lash products because I'm one of these working lash technicians. I know what it's like to be there. Yeah. So yeah, that's my online website where we have the shop. We have all of my online courses. I have a mentoring group called Lash Tech Tutorials on there. You can come on there and ask me to host you. So yeah, we have loads of stuff on there. I'm also on Instagram at Frankie Widdows. So daily I try to post something informative, just to, you know, keep helping people, which I love. I'm on YouTube at Frankie Widdows Eyelash Excellence. So I have loads of videos on there. Some of them are quite old, so some of the techniques might be a little bit outdated, but during lockdown, I've been going through and actually trying to update quite a lot of them videos, which I really, really love doing. I'm also on Facebook as Frankie Widdows Eyelash Excellence. And yeah, so those are all the places that you can find us. But I'm always open to an email. Drop me a DM. I'll always answer your messages. Like, we never just ignore them. We'll always make the effort to answer. And if we don't answer, it's because it's got lost somewhere in the system. But yeah, I'm always, more than happy to talk to people. I'm very laid back and down to earth. I'm just like everybody else here. So I'm always willing to help people if they've got a question or something's gone wrong and they don't know what's happening. Just drop me a DM and I will do my absolute best to help people. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show and giving your time today then again, Frankie. It was so good.
You are more than welcome, and thank you so much for having me. I absolutely love doing stuff like this. So yeah, thank you for taking your time to invite me on.